character is lower, then we want to put into our new string the character but in uppercase. Else if that is not true, but if the character is upper, then we want to put the character but in lowercase in the new string. Hello and welcome to another coding ASMR video, and this time we're gonna do some basic Python coding, and for that we'll go through the Code Wars website, and you can see it up here, just codewars.com, and that's a really cool website where you can get challenges in a lot of different languages. Like, I only set up C, Python, SQL, and TypeScript as my languages, but you can have like basically any language that you want. I mean, probably not every language, but yeah, basically. And you can select if you're just learning to program or if you're a junior, mid-level, senior, and I chose learning to program because I want to do this with you guys and I want it to be just super simple and relaxing. So yeah, today we're doing Python, and I set it to practice and repeat so we get an easy challenge. And this is our challenge here. The title is Get the Middle Character. You are going to be given a word. Oh wait, let's just click on train. Okay, now the instructions say you are going to be given a word, and your job is to return the middle character of the word. If the word length is odd, return the middle character, and if the word length is even, return the middle two characters. Now we get some examples. If the word that we get is test, then that's obviously even, so we want to return E and S from the middle. Testing, however, is 7 characters long or 7 letters long, and that means we can return only one character, which is the T, so that should be returned. And yeah, then we get middle and A as other examples. It also tells us that the input to our function over here will be a string, and it will have a maximum length of 1000. So it says this is only here to tell you that you do not need to worry about your solution timing out, which is good. So here we need to write our solution, and then we have some sample tests where we can test them with and see if we did everything right so far. But let me just take this over to my notebook so we can fool a bit around. This is a Colab notebook, which is from Google. It's called Google Colab. It's like this, and it's basically, you don't have to install anything and you can just code in your browser, so it's really simple to use. You just need a free Google account and you don't need to pay for it or anything, so that's quite nice. So we're going to use that, and it just has Python pre-installed and everything, so that's super handy. Okay, let us get our cute function over here, and now we can run this bit of code, and it obviously does nothing, but okay, let's say we have a string. Let's call it string A, and it will be test, and we want to return the middle characters, and we could start with just knowing how many characters our string has. So the first thing we'll probably do is say string, well, let's make it shorter, string length, and there we can, let's call that s like in the function up here, and then we can save the length of this string. And if we then output this and run this, yeah, it gives us 4 because test is for long. And now we need to decide or find out if this length is an even or an odd number. So if the string length, I'm just thinking, there might be a function in Python that just finds out if a digit is odd. Let's see, can I find this quick? Is odd? No, that's not a thing. Oh, I don't know. There's probably a function, but I don't know. But what we can do is we have a number like 3, and we can see if we divide it by 2, if there is a remainder or not. And in this case there would be a remainder, so the remainder would be 1. But if we test like 4, for example, then the remainder would be 0. So if the string length modulo 2 is 0, then we have an even number. And in that case, we want to return the middle 2 letters. So that would be, in this case, of course, it would be index 0, 1 and 2, because what you can do with a string is we have the string s, right? And if we do s of 0, we get the first t, and then 1 will be e. So in this case we want to return s1 and up to 2, but the upper bound needs to be 1 up, so this would be our result 1 and 3. But we only know that our length is 4, so then we want, let me think, we can try returning s of string length divided by 2, which would be 2, and then minus 1, and string length divided by 2 plus 1. That would work for this case, but I don't know if it works for every case, but let's just try. And then else, so if the string length is not even, then it's an odd number. And in that case, if we, for example, had the string car, then the length of that would be 3, obviously, and in that case we would want to return c s2 of 1. So that would be, in this case that would be, the 1 would be 3 divided by 2, but then round down to the lower number. So if we do 3 divided by 2, then we get obviously 1.5. But if we say we want to have integer division, so only give us natural numbers, then we can write this double slash and then it rounds down to 1, which would be ideal here in this case. So let's just try that. So s of string length, if it's odd, then just divide it by 2. Okay, now we can just copy this and put it into this function. Oh god. Back, paste. And this needs to be inserted 1 to the right. Okay, let's delete this and get another code cell. And let's see which test did they have. Test should be ES, testing should be 10. Let's just copy this. Okay. Now let's execute this, so it's function, and now we can use this function that we designed. And if we put in test, oh, that's great. That was not what I wanted. Slice indices must be integers. Oh, I know what's happening. Even if we put in an even number here, so for example, if we have the number 4 and we divide it by 2, well, you would think that's just 2, so that's a natural number, that's fine. But what is happening is that it returns 2.0. So if we say not float, it will be a float, but I wanted to say type. And if we then say, okay, if we run it, then we get that it's a float. But if for like indicating where in the string you want to go, it needs to be an integer. So if we do the double slash here, then it will be integer and it will not change anything. It will still be 2, but it will be not 2.0. So let's do the double slash here and here. Let's run it and run this. Oh, we don't return anything. That was smart of me. Okay, at the end we don't. We want to return these things. I promise I code better when no one is watching. Okay. Run this again and now test it. Okay, now it gives us ES, which is correct. Oop. Let's get this testing, and that should return a T. That's also correct. I feel like this is working well. Is it working for only one character? Ideal. Only 2 characters? Also ideal. Okay. So it seems like we did everything correctly, so we just take this function and put it back into the Code Wars interface as the solution. Paste. Why is it red? Do you not like this? Huh, I don't know. Now let's click on test, and now it will test all of these and it tells us that we did all of them correctly. You passed all of the tests. Now we can hand it in, and then it will run some more secret tests and tell us if we also passed these. And it says it tested 45 different words and we passed for all of them. Now we can submit it. Okay, so I found another challenge and I thought we would stick with the theme of strings for this video. So we'll do this string transformer task here. Let's click train. And then let's look at the task here on the left. The instructions say, given a string, return a new string that has transformed based on the input. And we have 2 tasks. We need to change the case of every character. So if it's a lowercase, it needs to be an uppercase in the result, and if it's an uppercase, it needs to be a lowercase. And also the second task is to reverse the order of words from the input. Then it also tells us we have to handle multiple spaces and leading and trailing spaces, but that shouldn't be a problem. And then we have an example. So if the input is example input, then we need to reverse the order of words, so input example, and every uppercase letter, like the I, needs to be a lowercase letter, and the rest, which are lowercase letters, need to be uppercase letters. Right. So here we have our function that we need to write again. Let's copy this, go back to our coding playground, delete everything we just did, don't need that anymore. And now let's put this here for now, and let's see, we have 4 functions that will be really important here, and they are, let me just show you. If we have test, we can do is lower, and this will give us true because every letter in test is lowercase. If I do test with a capital T, it's false. And the same we have for is upper, that's also false because it's mixed. But if I did test in all uppercase, then it's true. And we also have just lower, and that will transform it to lowercase. And it does the same for mixed. Yeah. And we also have uppercase, so just upper, and that will capitalize all letters. But we will not use it on words because we need to do it letter by letter, but it works the same if the string just has one character in it. So that's what we're going to do here. These are going to be really useful, and we will, if we have, let's have this, the same one that they had, the example input. Let's use that, and let's just first do the upper and lower case because I just started explaining that. So now we have all of these characters, and let me just check something. What happens if we have a white space? Is this lower? No. Is it upper? It's probably neither. Okay, I mean, okay, I can work with that. We need to remember that the white space is neither upper or lower case for the program. But now what we need to do is we need to write a for loop, because we want to look at every character in this string. For that we do for. Is that a protected keyword in this? Probably not, it doesn't look like it. So for character in S, and let's just print this. So this will go through the string and take every letter from this string and just take it by itself, and then it prints it because I said print. But now we could, for example, do is lower. Maybe print the string and then also if it's lowercase. And now we will get the E, and it will say false because it's not lowercase. The X is lowercase, so true, and so on and so forth. So now we can do new S, which will be our change string, and it's just empty at the start. And now we can check if the character is lower, then we want to put into our new string the character but in uppercase. Else if that is not true, but if the character is upper, then we want to put the character but in lowercase in the new string. And then we have a third case, because we have just discovered that white spaces are neither upper nor lower, and in that case we just put the character into our new string. Oop. And now let's output our new string, and that looks pretty good. So that is the transformation of upper and lower case, as far as I can tell. And let's put this already in here. We need to insert it a bit like this. And at the end of the for loop we return new s. Okay. But we also needed to reverse the order of words in this. And for that, we use this nice function. Well, if we have a string, I know that I defined this up there, but let's just write it again for clarity. So we have example input, and now we can do dot split, and we want to split every time we have a white space, and that will give us the first word and then the second word. And now let's save this in word list, and now we can do, there's probably a nice, is there something like this? Oh, it did something. I thought I made this up. Now let's... Oh my god. I pretty much guessed this. Okay, so we can reverse the order of the list, apparently, with reverse. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, I think we'll just do that. Oh yeah, and then we need to put it together again. And we do this by saying how we want to put it together. So we want to put spaces again between it. So then we put join, and as an argument we'll pass the word list. And that should be input example. Beautiful. Okay, now let's take this, copy this, and we'll do this after we transform the string already. Also, and now we apply this to the new string instead of our example, and we return this joined version. We can remove this. Okay, let's try this. And now let's apply the string transformer code to the string example input. Let's try this. Looks beautiful. Alright, let's take the function and use it in here. Still have no idea why this is complaining about everything. Is it not? Oh, okay. They have different rules for indenting code. That's fine. this, maybe. Okay. Test. Oh, we did something wrong. Oh, I didn't indent. Oh yeah, I have to indent this. Okay. Try again. Passed every test. Okay. Attempt solution. And we passed 106 tests, so everything correctly. Now I don't want to refactor my solution, it's fine. It's beautiful the way it is. Alright, I have selected a third kata that is also about strings. And this one says, John has invited some friends, and his list is this. It's S, and then it says Fred, I think you call it colon, and then Corwell, and then a semicolon, Wilfred, colon, Corwell, and so on and so forth. He has a lot of friends coming to his meeting. And now the task is, could you make a program that makes the string uppercase? So completely caps lock, yeah, like down here, and gives it sorted in alphabetical order by last name. And when the last names are the same, sort them by first name. And last name and first name of a guest come in the result between parentheses and separated by a comma. And that would look like this. So instead of having first name colon last name, we want to have parentheses open, last name, comma, white space, first name, and then closing the brackets, and then having the next one, and they should be sorted. So lots of little tasks in this one. They also tell us it can happen that in two distinct families with the same family name, two people have the same first name too. And we have more example in the sample tests, of course. Oh god, they are long. Okay. Let's do this. Delete everything from the last one. Oop. We want to write the meeting function, and I also want to get this example string here. Without the semicolon, please. Okay. Now, the first thing we need to do is extract all the people from the string. And we have already seen in the previous one that we can split a string. So in this case, we would do S and split. And here we want to split at the semicolon. And then this would give us a list of all these people. And now, let's save this in people. And now we can go through this, and let's create an empty meeting list, which is, just a string. And now we can go through the people and say for guest in people. Let's just print them for now. This will go through this and give us like first Fred, and then Wilfred, and then Barney, and so on. And now let's first bring them we need to get the first and last name separately, that's for sure. So let's do print for each one the guest, and also split that, but that one we want to split at a colon. And now it will give us a list for each guest, where the first entry is the first name and the last entry is the last name. So we could also take this and save this in first name and last name. And then we have two separate strings, I think. And we can print first. Can say, let's do a formatted string. So we'll say first name, and then we will print the first name, and we do this in curly braces, and then it will insert whatever we saved in this variable into the string. And then we do last name. Oh no, I wrote this last name, and we save the last name. Now let's run this. Yeah, so that worked beautiful. Now we have them separately, and I think for sorting them I could just save them as a list of lists, I guess. Let's do a people list, which is empty, and we will just remove this nice thing that I did, and to the people list append this thing that we just created. Remove the print. Does this run? Okay. Now we can look at this beautiful people list. Yeah, so this will be a list, and each entry in the list will be its own list. So I don't know, this is getting a bit ugly, but this is all I can think of right now. So we're doing this. And now we need to still sort them. So I think we can pass a lambda function into that. So if I say sort, I think I can pass in this for each person. I want to sort based on the last name. So the last person entry at index 1. Let's see, Corwell, Turnbull, Corwell. Okay, so in the sorted version, we would want to have all the Corwells first. Sort takes no positional arguments. That's unfortunate, right? So, okay, so I just googled this, and we have to pass it in as a key parameter. So we need to say key, and then we hit down the function. So if you go back here, I need to write key. Let's try this again. Oh, now it worked, okay. And now let's look at the people. What? Copy, paste. Okay, run. Okay, and now we see all the Corwells out front. And now we can sort it again, but by first name, because it said that we want to sort by first name if we have multiple of the same last names, which we do. So we want Alfred Corwell to be at the top before all the other ones, and Wilfred to be after Raphael, and so on. So we can do sort and give a key, and again a lambda function where we pass the person, but we will now sort by the first entry of each person. And then show me the list again. Right. Oh no, now it overtook it. That's unfortunate. Okay, now let's see what they say here. Can I pass in two keys? Okay, the operator module has item getter and a method caller. And now we see down here the operator module function allows multiple levels of sorting, which is what we want. For example, to sort by grade and then by age, or in our case, by last name and then by first name. And if we do the item getter and do first, so we would do first 1 and then 0 probably. Okay, so let's take this import and then do, wait, what was it? Item getter and then pass in those two. Okay, remove this item getter, first 1 and then 0. Beautiful, that was exactly what we needed. Delete that one. Google saved us. Okay, so we need to split them, and then we need to sort the people list that we created. And now that we have it in the right format, we just need to put it all to uppercase and put parentheses around it. So now let's create the meeting list. We don't want it up here. We want to do it here. Now let's go again through all the people. So we say for guest in the people list. For each guest we will create a string. So to the meeting list we will append our new string, and that will be a formatted string. So we have an open parentheses and then the first name, right? Check. No, first the last name. Okay, so guest 1, and we want it in uppercase, and then we want to write a comma and a white space, and then the first name, so guest 0, and also upper, and of our input, and also a parenthesis. Run that one and output the meeting list. I mean, that looks alright, I guess. So let's put the whole function together. We will first split the people from this weird colon format. Okay, so first we take this and insert it here. And it's not inserted at all. And then we also need this import for our solution, and then we will sort the people list like this, and then we will create our new string, which is not a list, it's a meeting string. So like this, and we will copy this and also put it in this function and indent it correctly, and then we will return the meeting string. Now let's check if I did everything correctly, and we will apply the meeting function to the string s here, and looks alright. So let's take everything and put it into the solution. So let's test And we did something wrong. Where did we do something wrong? So now it tells us what the input was, and it's this Alexis thing. So we have the first one correct. We have Anne and Arno, and we have John Bell, and we have Alex Cornwell, and Abba Dorney, and Lewis Kern, and Alex Corin, and Grace Meta, and Victoria. Oh no, that's where we're wrong. It wants us to have Schwartz, Victoria, and then we have Stan, Schwartz, and Stan. Right, let's take this wrong input and try this. Let's put this here. Yeah, we get Stan and Schwartz and Stan. Okay, let me take my printed people list, my sorted people list, excuse me. People list. Good old print debugging. Okay, so in the sorted list. Oh, they already have it in uppercase. That's cute. Okay. Alright, okay. Yeah, when it's ordering things, it makes a difference if it's uppercase or lowercase, so that's not ideal, but there's probably a nice way to get around this, but I don't know, so we're just gonna convert everything to lowercase. What happens if we just do S lower? Does it do something to the colons? No, they stay the same. Beautiful. So, I mean, we could just do it to uppercase, then we don't have to do it down here. Okay, remove the upper down here, and instead the first thing we will do is S equals S upper. And now remove this experiment, run this code, and now we have first Victoria Schwartz, then Madison Stan, and then Megan Stan, so that's beautiful. Remove the print again, copy this, and put it back into the solution, and test again. And now we have passed all of the tests. So attempt a real solution. And we also have passed 110 of the more advanced tests, or just more extensive tests, I guess. Great. So let's also submit that one. So we'll wrap it up here, and this is everything for our little Code with Me in Python ASMR video, and I hope you relaxed and maybe also learned a tiny little bit, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!